Change Victoria, and I'm here. There's been a lot of talk about democracy and decentralized power, but I'm here to ask you why you whipped the party vote on Bill C-62, which is the HST bill. 80% of BC citizens do not want this bill, but by you whipping the vote, you ripped our voice away in Parliament and are promoting a power transfer from BC to the federal government. This is not democracy. Why wasn't Keith Martin allowed to vote no when his constituents wanted him to vote no? Why were none of the MPs allowed to vote no without threats of party punishment for voting against the party whip? How is that democracy? Okay.
We should have cut the question off one earlier. I'd be a lot happier. That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. It's obviously a great preoccupation for British Columbians. I'll tell you straight up why. For 15 years, my party, the Liberal Party of Canada, has been in favor of harmonized sales taxes. And we have worked with the Atlantic provinces, with Quebec, with other jurisdictions to put them in. And in the long run, they've been good for jobs. They've even been good for tax levels. We have the proof. That is, we had 15 years of commitment. So I was being faced with a choice in which I had to turn around on 15 years of my own party's commitment. I also think that it's very important for us to be one country. And harmonized sales taxes, in my view, contribute to the national unification of our tax system. I had a province telling me, Gordon Campbell, all right, hey, democracy means listening to people you don't want to listen to, right? You don't want to listen to Gordon Campbell, you still got to listen to him. He's also won an election, as far as I can remember, right? So you got to listen to Gordon Campbell. Gordon Campbell is convinced, and I don't have to shill for Gordon Campbell. I'm just reporting what Gordon Campbell's case was, which is that this creates jobs in British Columbia. Okay? That's the case. And in a democracy, you got to listen to the case for and the case against. Now, what is clear is that the HST in British Columbia and also in the province of Ontario has had some negative cost. It's had an impact on the vulnerable. For example, higher fuel costs for senior citizens, for example. Now, my view of that is that it's very important for the province to do anything it can to mitigate the negative effects of HST. And I noticed this morning, if I'm not mistaken, that there are some important mitigations in respect to hospitals and respect to educational institutions. That's a government responding to the kinds of concerns that you have and doing it in an appropriate way. And I believe that a federal government ought to respond. If the citizens of the province are saying, look, this shoe is really pinching us here and it's hurting the vulnerable, a smart and compassionate federal government should respond and should help the provinces to mitigate the negative impact of the HST on the most vulnerable. And that's democracy. That's responding to the concerns of the people. But I was faced, you've got to understand what public leadership is like. If I have everybody have a free vote in the House of Commons, you know what happens the next day? They say Ignatieff can't leave. He can't impose discipline. He can't keep the Liberal Party together. So I have to choose. I have to choose to maintain political discipline. And so I've done so. And believe me, it wasn't easy. And the conversations with Keith Martin haven't been my favorite conversation, much as I respect our distinguished member of Parliament for this area. And a final point here. You talk about democracy, but understand my position. If I come out against the HST, then I have to go into the next election promising I'm going to abolish it for you. Right? The only credible position is I'm going to get rid of it. And then I'm doing false populist politics that I detest, because I happen to think it's good public policy. Right? So there we are. This is what leadership requires. It's not a popular choice. I'm aware it's not a popular choice. My MPs have done a terrific job telling me how unpopular it is. Right? But to lead is to choose. And I made the choice, and we made the choice as a caucus, and we've held together as a caucus. And then I hope, and just so you don't think I'm listening, the mitigations, the changes, the adjustments to HST that need to be made to make it a fairer tax for British Columbians and Ontarians. That's a matter to work with the provincial government on, and I pledge as a federal leader, if and when we get into government, I hope we get into government, to work with provincial governments to mitigate the negative consequences. Thanks for your question.
Just send your cash.
Al-Qaeda blow up a plane and kill innocent civilians. Saddam Hussein, that he was a murderous tyrant, poison gas, torture, devastation. Saddam Hussein was a murderous tyrant. 800,000 people were chopped into small pieces, blow up innocent civilians. I just believe very strongly, and I learned this in Bosnia during the 90s when I got shot at. What I saw was so searing, so revolting, so terrible, that I just thought we had to get rid of him any way we could. That's the straight-up answer as to why I supported the Iraq War.
It's the third time I've said that. I'll probably say it 3 more times. See, in my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda.
When the shit goes down, you better be ready.